This will go down in the memory lane as first ever video I made on my Booktube channel. After deliberating for years, I'm finally doing this. I'm very nervous and equally excited. Hi, I'm Aishwarya and I hope you enjoy getting to know me a little better, and we will have many conversations about our favorite books in the future. So I have this list of questions. To be honest, they seem like very serious questions from a job interview, but I will try to answer them as we go. So let's dive right in. Why did you start this channel? The short answer is I want to find my people. People who like and dislike the same books as I do. I've been reading since I was 7 or 8 years old, and I was born and raised in India, and English is not my mother tongue, so my parents believed reading would help me pick up the language better. So they encouraged me to read, and they set reading goals for me early on in my life. So I've been a book lover for as long as I can remember, and I want to be able to share my love for reading with others and be a part of this incredible community. I don't have anyone around me who really likes to read and talks about books, and I want to talk about the books I like. I want to share my opinion, get other perspectives, and discover new reads. That's my hope and dream for myself and this channel. So the next is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? I was a radio host for many years of my life. Yeah, it's true. That's why I don't have the confidence for a camera. Not yet, but I have the experience to talk about many topics in a short, crisp way. I think I would want to use that on my channel. I think my background is unique. I have a degree in journalism. I work in communications, and I'm exposed to people writing and editing materials every day to make them fun to read and simple to understand. I think I have a unique point of view on the books I read, which I hope would be interesting for others to listen. Okay, next. Why do you love reading? I've loved reading for many different reasons in my life, but right now I love it because it keeps me happy. It keeps me going on days when I feel a little isolated. I migrated from India to Canada in 2019, and leaving your whole life behind can be an isolating experience. So I left my friends and family behind. I'm also a new mom. I have a beautiful son named Zor. He's 4 months old. Sometimes I read when he's napping. Sometimes he's just sleeping on me and I'm reading with one of my hands extended above him with this book light attached to the cover, or when he's practicing his rolling over. So my books are my friends. They fill my time. They keep me occupied. They make me laugh and cry, and sometimes they stop me in my tracks. They don't let me slip into despair, and I hope it doesn't sound like a depressing answer, because it's not. I'm so happy with my books because I always wanted a life where I could read more, and now I have it. What books or series got you into reading? When I was a kid, I used to read a lot of fairy tales and fantasy books for kids. As a child, I read whatever looked appealing in the school library. I just had to read something. Remember, this is in India. Kids didn't get a large allowance to buy books, so the school library was my source of books. As I grew older, books like The Perks of Being a Wallflower, The Alchemist, 1000 Splendid Suns, 100 Years of Solitude, The Kite Runner, The God of Small Things were some books I really enjoyed. I also had a brief Sidney Sheldon phase where it was very, very brief. Maybe a book or two. Yeah, pretty short-lived. So next question. What questions would you like to ask your favorite booktubers? I would ask them what they do when they start reading a book that they can't seem to finish. Do they drop it midway? I have a problem where I can't leave books unfinished, even if they are very boring, and that wastes a lot of time and feels like a chore. So I want to understand how others get through an uninteresting book. The other thing I would want to ask them is about storing books. I don't have much space, and many of my books end up going into boxes. How do they decide what to store and what to display? I mean, I wish I could display all my books, but I know that's not practically possible. So I'd want to understand the strategy behind how to display, what to display, what not to display. What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel would be the hardest to overcome? I'm very self-conscious, so getting comfortable in front of the camera might take some time. I hope I feel better as days pass and I get more experience with booktube. The other thing is staying motivated. Even when a few people are watching or no one is watching, I know I'm here to find a community, have discussions about the books I love. So yeah, that might be a little hard to get over. When did you start reading? I think I've already answered that. Age 7 or 8. Started with children's books. Been reading since then. Where do you read? Wherever I can. These days I read in bed right next to my son's crib. I use a book light. I also use public transit, so I read on the subway. Don't have a dedicated reading nook because I don't have a huge home. I would really like to have a huge home and a reading nook both. So I read anywhere in the apartment except in the kitchen and the bathroom. I don't like to get my books dirty. Next question is, what kind of books do you like to read? I like realistic and historical fiction. I like books with strong characters which make me feel something for them. If I don't love or hate the characters, if I'm indifferent about them, then I find it particularly hard to like a book. So some recent books that I've loved a lot are Where the Crawdads Sing, The Vanishing Half, and The Four Winds. I also love mythological fiction because I am a Canadian of Indian heritage. So I've loved mythology a lot of Hindu mythology, a lot of Greek mythology, those kind of things. Some of the mythological fiction books that I like are the Percy Jackson series, Asura, an illustrated retelling of the Mahabharata, and many others. I'm not into spicy romantic books and young adult books. I used to be when I was in school, but I find them a little over the top and immature now. Okay, no more questions. So, okay, that seems like the question there are. That's me in a nutshell. Those were some introspective questions. I hope you like my little intro and decide to stick around and have bookish conversations with me. If you do, please do subscribe and hit the notification bell and say hi in the comment section. I would be so encouraged to see your comments. I will see you in the next one. Until then, keep reading.